Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and the U.S. State Department has issued a notice saying travelers should avoid going to Jamaica until the COVID-19 situation in the country has improved. The CDC had classified the Caribbean island as a level 4, or a country that has a very high level of COVID-19. That's according to a USA Today report. According to the World Health Organization, Jamaica has reported a total of 72,824 cases of COVID-19 since January of last year, with the number of deaths amounting to 1,646. The CDC also said that those traveling to Jamaica must ensure that they are fully vaccinated and must be mindful about the recommendations or requirements in country, including wearing a mask and staying 6 feet apart from others. Meanwhile, in Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Mottley has assured Barbadians that her government will not be pressured into another lockdown of the country, arguing that it would result in a withdrawal of international flights for possibly the rest of the year and cause irreversible social and economic damage. Mottley made the comment in response to calls from the opposition Democratic Labour Party, the DLP, for tougher measures to combat COVID-19 because of the outbreak of the highly contagious Delta variant on the island. According to the report, Mottley accused the DLP of politicking with COVID-19, adding that now was not the time for partisan politics. She also urged the DLP to join in the struggle to get more Bajans vaccinated, instead of proposing measures that are likely to bring greater hardship to those who can least carry the extra burden. Locking the country down is and will not be the first, second, or third option of this Barbados Labour Party government. I want to make that very clear. We do not take the matter of shutting this country down lightly. This is not the knee-jerk manner in which we govern. That's a quote from Mottley. She says, if my ministers and I have to take to the streets of Barbados and go door to door to get Barbadians fully sensitized of the need to protect themselves against the spread of COVID-19, particularly with the prevalence of the Delta variants, then that is what we shall do. The DLP needs to stop the politicking and hop aboard the national crusade to save lives and uphold the standard of living to which Barbadians have become accustomed. And out of Haiti, Haiti's provisional government on Wednesday released a draft of a new constitution through which the country will try to recover from the political instability left by the July 7th assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. According to Prime Minister Ariel Henry, a new constitution will be a point of departure for other agreements on the future of the country. Defenders of the new constitution highlight the fact that it eliminates legal immunity for government officials after leaving office so that they can be tried in regular courts instead of having to go first through a senatorial approval. Immunity is not synonymous with impunity, said Mona Jean, a lawyer who sits on the committee that drafted the new constitution. A government job must not be a source of illicit enrichment. Since 1805, Haiti has known 23 constitutions, as all leaders, with a few exceptions, have systematically wanted to cling to power one way or the other, referendums being usually some sort of a farce where a small percentage of the population would vote to validate somebody's personal project. That's a look at what's going on around us today. All right. We are, as I said, on the weekend, and all the talk still is CPL. It's an open Friday. Feel free to talk about what's on your mind. We're expecting cruise ships in here next week. I think it's the 14th. and expecting that bubbles are created in Port Zante. All of that is on tap, and CPL continues this weekend. All 6 teams will be playing this weekend. 3 games on Saturday and 3 games on Sunday. So starting at 10, 2:30, and 7. So it's a lot of cricket this weekend. All 6 teams playing. Patriots' chances for the semifinals. Well, I'm still there. I'm still on board, and we will. Let me just the point system so far. Trinbago 10. St. Kitts 10, Jamaica 10, Jamaica 8, St. Lucia 8, Guyana 8, Barbados on the bottom of the ladder on 4. So my hope is that of the 2 games we play, Saturday and Sunday, one of those will cement our position in the semifinals. Just win one of those, we cement our position in the semifinals. So I expect that will happen. All right. So 465-2555 and 718-577-2916 are the phone numbers to getting on the conversation on this Friday. Let's go to the phones. Say good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Knight.
Good morning, sir.
I myself also share the sentiment with the local team, Patriots. As you know, Patriots has had its challenges, and so when they're doing well, and even when they're doing not so well, we still show our solidarity and cheer them on. With our home court, we have that sort of advantage. And even though the crowd has been restricted in terms of all on Sunday, in which you would agree, a unification, a unified crowd would give more support in terms of our cheering and our camaraderie. But I respect as for the bubble down at Port Zante, we will see. There are certain things that I would observe and examine and see how that rolls out as the ships come. But I reserve my conversation on the bubble as a taxi person. I reserve it for some other time. I'm going to play the wait and see game. Mm-hmm. But of course I have my right to speak on it.
Okay.
But at hand, as we speak, we know the cricket continues, and what is relevant to me right now is that an historic event took place on Tuesday, the 7th, which I think is worthy of a conversation. So glad today open Friday, and so you doesn't have a topic in hand, and so I can vent my analysis into what came from the program, what emanated from the program. We are in the pandemic, and we are looking ways and means. That's how we can get our young brains, young potential scientists, to really come to the fore, be innovative in medicine, and come up with our own solutions to anything that might come our way, here and in the future. So that was most of what the conversation emanated about. But like Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves and Prime Minister Gaston Brown and Prime Minister Mayor Motley, they all had their aspects, their perspective as to what they would have brought to the fore. And briefly, what emanated, because I listened to the Island program with the link up from Antigua and Barbados along with St. Kitts, what emanated from that is like Mr. Gonsalves would have said about the CARICOM with what we call the Americas, but he specifically said Brazil. I want to widen that to the Americas, because not just Brazil and the Caribbean islands where our sisters and brothers were dispersed. Believe it or not, you go to Argentina, you may not see any persons of our pigment, but they were there. So we're going to widen that net to encompass all of those persons. What Mr. Gonsalves said is like, yes, this is where. And so there were different perspectives that came out of that meeting. which was historic. It was chaired from the African Union perspective by Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of Kenya. And of course, we know that Mr. Gaston Brown is our CARICOM chairperson. And so the perspective was there going forward. Some might say it's just a talk shop, another talk shop. I beg to differ, because we have been saying it. We have been saying it, and it is coming into fruition as we speak. We just didn't say it because I didn't know about it. It is in the air. It is in the domain. It is in the conversation of our people. And so we just reiterate it and we repeat it as a constant reminder to our people that hope is not lost. You have small businesses here that can make linkages over there and the like.
All right, thank you for your input there. Let's take another call. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen and Zing. God bless you, my beloved African. But how are you, all the family?
All doing well. You?
Good, man, and the clan is good. Now, my beloved brother, me first big up the Pan-Africanist sister, man, Sister Mia Motley, the only Pan-Africanist leader in the Caribbean cause. The others are them, 99.9 of them. It's just backward Negroes and neo-colonialists, beloved. Now, beloved, let me call again. Not me, sorry, let me just take back that. Let us, we the people of Deep Bay, when me neighbor Stringberry, demand to know on the others, residents of Deep Bay, demand to know who own Kansas Pasha. Mr. Prime Minister Dr. Harris, we need to know. The Minister of Lands, we need to know. And the Cabinet, we need to know. Because they're going to keep beating this drama, beloved. And nobody answer by next election. I, Brother Nabu, ain't supporting Team Unity Administration if nobody answer to the question. We need to know. We demand to know who owns Kansas Pasture. Now, brother, let me move on. The talk, I want to see the connection with our brothers, sisters, and brothers on the African continent in all fields of life, beloved. But these Negroes, like the clown that they have in Antigua, Barbuda, the guy is a total traitor of the African race. And you could check that out for yourself. Look how he deals with the people of Antigua, Barbuda, especially Barbuda. Sell off African people land in Antigua and Barbuda. And this is no kind of thing. You could go and check it out for yourself, my beloved brother. And the others, I disagree with my beloved brother Africa. Check into Gaston Clown more, beloved. The guy mean no good for African people. I all for unity among our people, but not these misleaders, especially a guy like Gaston. No, man, not them kind of people. It's the same thing they're gonna do, beloved. We can't get these people front and center up. No Pan-African movement in the Caribbean, not them. See, Sister Mia Motley must lead that charge at all times. I don't care if he's the so-called chairman of career almost gone, beloved. You know, we got to stop this nonsense. We cannot just steady idly by and see these Negroes and neo-colonialists do the pronouncement and narrative. No, they must not control the narratives when it comes to African peoples. And the pronouncement, they ain't gonna control it. We Pan-Africanists must stand up and call them out at all times, beloved. And, beloved, again, I'm calling on the young people, St. Kitts Nevis, choke the rest of the Caribbean and the African continent and the African diaspora. Beloved, young sisters and brothers, stand up. Take charge. It's your time. time. You're the present future, you're the present leaders and the future leaders. You must form a Pan-African liberation movement, political movement, and just exit out of this neo-colonialist party, because I done it all of them party in a St. Kitts, even People's Action Movement. Because the People's Action Movement, so-called chairman and others, they just backward. I ain't got no problem with Sean. I ain't got no problem with Brother Hamilton. But the rest of them, they just got a little clique inside there. Just to keep back. For now, I supported the party for over 52 years.
Okay, caller.
Let me just finish. Just give me 5 seconds, beloved. Let me just finish. 5 seconds.
Counting,
right?
Go ahead.
What you said?
I'm counting, go ahead.
Okay, so I done with the People's Action Movement because it's just a neo-colonialist organization and they continue. Nobody want to change. So I done with them and I done with all the parties, the political parties in the St. Kitts. Brother, thanks again for hearing me. Thanks for the time. Pan-Africanism our place. One love, my beloved brother.
All right, one love. We got a caller? Okay. Let's take the next caller. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Afternoon. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well too. I'm doing well.
Okay, good. What's on your mind?
Why Nabu don't suck up there with Trump and Biden and leave us down here alone? He done with Ari. He never with us. He never make a X for us. Yet, he just stop up the banging his demon's mouth. He leave us alone, here with us. He stop up the bang him out, now he with us. A demon's like he need to go and go look for God. He say he know that call no the God, not Jesus. So he need some God in a he. And when he could come back, come talk about St. and he's a demon. And for the cricket, this one I just already really like the Patriot them to win this storm here. Sunday when I come from church, I think I went in a slight coma when I hear that they lose again. I don't even know if I eat or was not after I hear they lose. I come straight in the bed, go lay down, because I think they would have win Sunday, even though they lose Saturday. I did feel a little by Saturday, but Sunday when I come, hoping that they're going to win. And me win, oh Lord, and I really don't want to go back in to that again Sunday, God still even a come from church. So the guy who was there to make them win the 5 match, I beg him please, see if he could get back out here for Saturday. We need him, we need him now. Bravo.
Bravo.
Please, yes, let he come out, because I don't think I could take another thing like this your Sunday against your life when I come from church.
All right.
So please.
Okay. Have no fear.
All right.
Have no fear. It'll be okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. We will. Hold on. Wow. Caller, you got the equipment on there? Okay, let's go. Yes, caller, you're live.
Yeah, I just want to say one. Patriot could win the game, But you know what I need to do? Let game come down number 15. As long as he can come down number 15, you see St. Kitts win. Check the amount of games that Gale play and the amount of games that they lose, and you see where why be really happening. So what I need to do? Put Gale 15.
Okay.
And play thing. You see they'll win.
Okay.
And I guarantee you if they do that on Saturday, trust me, they win Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
If some of you could call or could get through your phone, boy, you got to God bless you, got your ear and pan still. The male caller before you come and give you and pull off your ear, boy. The lady couldn't say it better. So now, last night I was watching the TV
yes.
and listening. What about some fishery carp open your tongue? A committee was formed and do it that way.
Okay.
But I couldn't make out everybody on it. Craig Tuckett is the president. Me never know Craig Tuckett to be a fisherman yet.
Okay.
I can say that. And I don't care who vex and who here. I don't know why these people want to waste so much at one time. Then I see a clear guy on it. Me never know he from any part in your tongue. There are 3 guys who I saw there on the map, so I could recognize them by seeing them, and the name I can't figure out. Me see a soul from Newton in that corporation. I don't really know what's going on. Anyway, that's enough for that.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Oh, that's it? Okay. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Good morning, Mr. Nyas.
Good morning.
How are you, man?
I am doing well.
Mr. Nyas, this is Journey. My topic this morning is the African Summit that was held in Zoom on Tuesday of this week, African Caribbean Summit. So Nyas, this is a very significant and historic event that's taken place, and I want to keep it alive and burning. It is something that we need to be aware of, and going forward, opportunities are opening up for we in the diaspora to have easy access to the continent for those who want to. Mr. Nyas, it was just give me a second. 500 years of European transportation of enslaved Africans to the Caribbean, and 66 years of Pan-African Congress that was held in Manchester, England in 1945. Now today, we have to get on board, because while we are in the diaspora, and those who want to separate themselves from what I would say their birthright, there are, let me say, Mr. Nyas, that I am in contact with an African community in Germany, and there are elder Germans are reaching out to the African community in Germany, pleading to this African community to show mercy to their offborn, their offspring, asking them, begging them that when their unborn generation return to Africa, that they must show mercy to them, because they are aware of the atrocities that was done to their people by their ancestors. Now here we have a community of Caucasian Germans begging an African community in Germany to show mercy, recognizing that Germany and the West is sinking and the system is crumbling. They are recognizing that Africa is the future. We here need to wake up. The future is ours. There's a global awakening right now, Mr. Nyas, and the West is so afraid of it. Why they are afraid? Because they know who we were and who we are. Everything that they have done to us, Mr. Nyas, is to hide our history, our power, our name, everything that they took from us. They are afraid of who we are today, but we are not like them. What they're afraid of, if the system was to be the other way around, they think that we would treat them the way they treat us. We are not like them, Mr. Nyas. But I want our people to wake up, because what they gave us is to live out their narrative, to justify just what they're doing us. Mr. Nyas, they have even colonized God and give us, because they broke us away from our power. That's why they give us their name. We weren't allowed to read. We weren't allowed to read, Mr. Nyas. this summit that they had in the Caribbean, it was a Zoom summit, and our scientists today know, going forward in the future, this summit is opening up avenues for our people who are brilliant to create our own vaccine for Africans. Mr. Nurse, I don't know if you're aware of a Nigerian doctor in New York who took a baby from a Caucasian from the mother's womb because the baby had a tumor. He took that baby out of the womb, operate on the baby, and place it back in the womb. The heading of the story was that the baby that born twice. Today, the British government is offering Nigerian scholarship to come and study in England. And hopefully, after they finish their studies, they would stay in England and work with the English. Why are they doing that? But yet they are shipping out Jamaicans. They're shipping out Jamaicans. So you see, they have become a brain freeze right now, and they need us, but we are separating ourselves from where we belong.
All right, let's wrap up, Nicola.
All right, Mr. Nice, thank you for hearing me.
Sure. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Brother Tony.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, Tony, from since the CPL start, I support the Patriot. You understand? Because I think it needs Patriot. But I see how the CPL and the 20 over go. I used to play cricket and now we go. Tony, no batsman could go in a wicket and got 200 on the face and go down and set down. He got a bigger man go. I mean, if a good ball come, you got to try to respect it. But if all that good ball come, what you going to do? And you got to run the net. You got to try to force to shot to get it run and you run out. So, all the people got a problem with Chris Gale and whatever. Chris Gale don't do it, he don't do it hard in cricket. And we don't see that they got to bring him down. So because they bring people from Australia, from Pakistan, and they're 39, 40 something years old. And they're playing still and they're playing good. So Chris Gale just maybe not in a good nick. You understand? But I believe Chris Gale will contribute when we get going, he will contribute. And I believe in this last two matches we got to play, I believe he can take us to the final and take us to the victory. I believe he keep doing up with that. And Tony, and again, think it me with Patriot. This is something that he can pick anybody from over cutting a test cricket or nothing. You pick 2,000 and think it me with. Man, give him a chance in the side now. I saw the people young people get motivated. How would it be going to Korean World Cup? Get so good. Because when some started first, we not accept. And from that, everybody started to talk about Korean play, and we come on to make your team decide. So I don't have to think it means Patriot, and I leave it another fiction in the side. And the child in the game. Man, give everybody a game. This is not just put it about you let him know because he ain't got the experience. You got to try to motivate the young man between the senior one and two. You understand? This shouldn't get news. They don't get a game. All right then.
Okay. Back to the phone. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nair.
Good morning.
Yes, I noticed the gentleman up there in New York called down to want to know who owns Kansas Pasture. I thought he said he neighbor Stringberry down there. If he neighbor Stringberry down there, he should know who owns it. You understand me? Even down there, you want to make a republic. You know, I will be glad today when he stop calling down here and talking nonsense and stay up here with the nonsense. Okay, Mr. Nice, you have a nice day.
Okay.
And another thing again, you're letting these people talk a little bit too long. Too long. It's only an hour show you have. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. And that's it. All right. So, what do we... Lots to unpack there from those calls. Patriots, some people say they want Bravo back as the captain. Well, I'm hoping he's back for the next two games, Saturday and Sunday, but we'll see. Gail, I'm not going to say much about Gail. Going back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. I too would like to weigh in on the Afro-Caribbean Summit. Like any other black person, I think I'm excited at this newfound interest in Pan-Africanism. You know, it's a good morale booster. It's good for the psychological and emotional aspects of things. But I'm somewhat concerned that we are not getting the priorities right. As they normally say, we should dance a yard before we dance abroad. And by abroad, or rather by a yard, I mean the immediate diaspora. I don't know if you know, but was Haiti and Santo Domingo and Cuba included in this? Were any of the other Spanish-speaking people bordering the Caribbean Sea with significant African populations included in this? You know, what about the black people in Brazil and the U.S. for that matter, right? Or, I mean, is this about race or just the transatlantic slave trade, right? Did they narrow it down to that? Because, you know, one can argue that as a matter of strategy, just focusing on that would not in itself bring about the kind of cooperation and change that we need. We have to get a strategy, I think, which starts country by country, region by region, and solve the problems locally, so we then can go back to Africa with something, not with hands empty like when we came. I think I listened to part of it, and one of the things that came up was to do with logistics, the travel between the two spaces, immigration and finance. And these are three things that bedevil us even in this region. You know, we have not been able to come to grips with these problems. And lurking in the background is the first world, who views any attempt at independence from them with suspicion. We don't want our leaders to go the way of Gaddafi, who was promoting African unity and was prepared to put his money where his mouth was. Okay? Just look at the strange relationships we have here right now in the Caribbean. Okay? We still have remnants of colonialism to get rid of. And it's the people of those territories who cling on to the apron strings. You know, just because they want passports that are of questionable value. You know, I'm referring to places like Anguilla, the BVI, the Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, you know. And then there's the Bahamas and Bermuda, who see themselves as more part of metropoles rather than anything else. So there's a lot of work to be done. There are a lot of opposing forces to overcome, and much of these are our own making among our own people. Okay, I don't think they're conscious enough of what's going on in the world. I maintain until our countries show that they can manage themselves properly, and our political and economic and social systems are comparable or even superior to those of other regions and other races, we will always be disrespected. You know, people will always look at us as corrupt basket cases of failed states. And so I say, fix our individual systems first, then our collective systems will quite naturally improve and we become shining examples to follow, right? Hence the dance a yard first before we dance abroad. And one other thing, your caller mentioned the installation of a cooperative with somebody best known as a political operative. I don't know when we're going to stop doing things like these. When we do things like that, we doom what should be really good organizations to failure. Right? We have to start operating differently. Okay? Put people on things like those who can make a contribution other than a political one. Okay?
Okay.
I think that goes across the board to things like government government boards and statutory corporations. We don't do a good job of appointments there. It's mostly out of political favoritism and those kinds of things. And it's time that stopped.
Okay.
Okay now.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Hello, Mr. Nice.
Hey, good morning.
This is Alfonso calling you from New York, the Bronx, New York.
Yes, sir.
I have a question here. How much people died in St. Kitts so far from COVID? Do you know?
I think the number I saw is 6.
6. Okay. In the United States, is over 500,000 people died from COVID so far and counting. Last night they kick off the football season in Tampa, Florida, and they open up the stadium to all the spectators who want to come. They got to wear masks. So what is it for the semifinal in the CPL? They can't open up Warner's Park and make sure the people fully vaccinated and wear masks, and they could see the last array of the games, the spectators in St. Kitts. Because I think it's blatant unfair that the people of St. Kitts can't get to go in their own park and enjoy the game that we love. Cricket is the greatest game that we enjoy in St. Kitts and Nevis.
People will be going to the games. People are going to the games.
Yeah, but not the whole stadium. It's just chosen people, right?
No,
because when I look at it, I don't see a lot of people.
Right. I mean, there's not the crowds has not been, like usual, but there's a 50% capacity right now that they're allowing to go to the games. Fully vaccinated. Must be fully vaccinated. When I look at it on the screen, on the TV from New York on YouTube, they don't show you a crowd. They show you 1 or 2 people cheering, like on the side of the pavilion, and where the players them sitting, and you don't see. They don't spread out the whole stadium and see how the people them is in place in the stadium. Well, as I said, there's not a usual cricket crowd that we are seeing, but I'm saying that the stadium is open to fully vaccinated people. And wear your mask and sanitize and all of that. I mean, they allow 50% of the stadium's capacity. If people choose not to go, that's them. But
that's not my understanding. People don't go because they won't let them in. They got to be
fully vaccinated.
They got to be special people that get the tickets.
No,
tickets are not open to everybody.
It's fully vaccinated. That's the.
Well, I'm getting a different information up in North America.
Yes, you are. All right.
So, okay, Mr. Nice. Sure. Thanks for taking my call, and you have a good weekend.
You too.
And may God bless St. Kitts and Nevis, my homeland.
Okay. All right. The situation is that they won't fill the stadium 100%, but they're allowing 50%. If you to be in that number, you gotta be fully vaccinated. Of course, you're wearing your mask and all of that. But people may not be excited about going to the game, so they feel not to go as well. All right, there's no specialty, no special arrangement any other way. It's fully vaccinated. You want to go to the game, you can. All right. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm a cricket fan calling in.
Yes.
I'm a patriot.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody back in St. Kitts Navy? Win, draw, all lose, I with them.
That's right.
But some of the players can do better.
Mm-hmm.
They can do better. If you know we put you there and you have a big name or whatever, you know, we expect you to perform. We come to see you perform.
Fair enough, yes.
To perform that we can please us. You're going to please us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like football. You have a team playing, they have 10 games to win a cup, they won't can't win it 10. You must draw one or lose one or something. But you don't try to win all. And I don't go for hoping and praying that my team could win all the games, but it ain't going to happen. I notice, I don't know what the rules and regulations. I notice you go in the park, only 2 standards be using them. Okay. I don't have a problem with it. The last one over there by Mr. Sharp, that belong, I just say that belongs to the grown men over to the last one, and maybe the other one. I got a problem in 2 of them in using, but the first was the D and C. I don't see why they don't cover them when there's a game in the night. Twice they go up there, they standing cover down. I don't know why. Somebody could explain that. There are people downstairs selling bars downstairs. So if them up there and if they ain't nobody up there, I don't know, the people ain't gonna come on the ground, leave the body and the ground and go away. And something you go up there first, they used to tell you that you can't go through you can come through the gate and go like we rock and selling. You have to stay over something. There's that rules and whatnot, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when you reach over by Baker's Corner there, where you go up before you go up to turn up by NAC. Since the cricket start, there's a tent there. Nobody does have the tent. The tent is not for no use. I don't know why the tent here. Right there by the young man, we sort of tell to the load of board just before you go up to go up to NAC. The tent is right there. And it is there for no use. So I don't see what is that. And some places up there, they just, you cannot go certain places, which is the rule or the law, whatever. But I don't see in the morning, well, they say no games in the morning. Some people not working and people just out to go cricket. But this time them shut down, and twice in the night, nobody could go up in the stand either. Everybody cannot sit on the ground, grass and fight of people, especially elderly and there's not here for people to sit and so. So it's a problem. You have a couple of problems going on up there with elderly and other people who can sit on the grass and what. They need to find somewhere to sit and stand them close down, cover down like it's a bed or something. And I don't know what is the reason. I don't know why. So somebody could explain something about that. But I hope and pray that the team could go out tomorrow and do their best to please us.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. As far as the morning games during the week is concerned, I think that's more of a economic rationale there. They don't expect as many people in the mornings, and so therefore they don't want to utilize as much security and as much staff. So knowing that, they kind of make that economic decision with the morning games, so you don't get any spectators in the morning games, but well, except for the weekends. Weekends you can go in the morning games. But all right. Other thing I'm concerned about is that I mean the elevators in that stadium has not worked for I don't know how long, and that's kind of tough on people. But anyway, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, hello. Your live caller, go ahead.
Hello. Yes, I'm calling from California, and I'd like to give my input, Mr. Nayas, and the cricket.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I'm listening here in California, and I'm looking occasionally on the television. And I have a serious problem, as I've spoken to people who live out here who has the same problem. And it comes with the commentary coming on the radio. Now we have some commentators there, and they are not really giving ball to ball play. I understand it's a virtual situation and they're there as more like entertainer, but they're there to advertise. They're there to push the CPL and also the location. These guys, Tony Gray and Maury, these guys are not talking about St. Kitts. They are not pushing St. Kitts. Now, I know that we have state of emergency, but I think that the people in St. Kitts, whether it's the government or appointed set of people who work with the CPL, need to have someone in the commentary booth give them information that instead of them always talking about Trinidad and Barbados and the food in Trinidad and the food in Barbados and the places in Guyana and all those places, let us hear something about St. Kitts. Now, we are not getting our full publicity when it comes to that part. Now, when it comes to the actual game itself, I think that St. Kitts Patriots, we run out of gas. I think we started off really hot and started to incur injury and tiredness. So I think our executive, the coaches and the management, the strategy that they using is not working. You can't win 5 games and turn around and lose 5 games and expect the fans to say, okay, we are already into the semi-final, the playoff. I think that strategy that is put after we won these first 5 games is very poor, and I also think that the commentary is not doing St. Kitts and Nevis justice in terms of advertising our island, pushing our product. So thank you for giving me Tony great program. Keep up the good work.
All right. As far as the commentary is concerned, my understanding is that the commentary is actually coming out to Trinidad. So they are actually giving commentary by viewing the game on a big screen, whatever, and running the commentary from Trinidad. So maybe they're talking about Trinidad because they're in Trinidad. But I get your point, and I agree wholeheartedly that we should get some mileage out of it. But hey, that's the way it is. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, Brother Tony.
Yes, sir.
Good again. No, I was just going to tell the caller the same thing. The commentary coming from Trinidad, the radio commentary coming from Trinidad. The television commentary, I believe, the guys them here. But the radio commentary coming from Trinidad, and they cannot, sometimes they make mistake and all, because they're watching the game from the line. So sometimes they make mistake and all, but you know that because of the COVID, everything that they do virtually. Now, Tony, I just want to tell me good friend Sonny Boy, that in the games, them don't have no crowd. I mean, no spectators. They don't allow spectators in the day. They allow spectators in the night. But, Sonny Boy, you know, COVID is on, a lot of people are working. It's economic hardship right now. And everybody wants to operate to fast. You understand? And some people too use the political mind too. Not to go support the CPL neither. And not that in it, because you know everything politics, you know everything. You think it. But the commentary and everything, I believe the man doing a good job with the commentary because I don't listen on the radio and in the television. You understand? So that's to say. I would like to say think it means project. You got television, 3 television application on the team. See them at the game. Let's see them perform. You know? That's my input for the Tony.
Okay. Thank you for that input. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Nice, I'm back. Just to tell the caller from the States that New York, as far as I understand, does produce vaccine and think it's Nevis don't. So they could fill up the stand of football fans. All right, thanks.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, a whole lot there. There are some challenges with the CPL, of course. Remember, it is CPL. It is not St. Kitts Cricket Association or anything like that. It is CPL. Everything is not perfect and to all of our liking. There are things that could change and could be improved. There's a lot of restrictions in the stadium itself, as to where you can go and how you can get there. So they have lots of restrictions on that. But once you find a position and you get to see, we're getting good cricket. You don't win all of them, but we're getting some good cricket, and we will see what happens. All right, coming up on finals on Wednesday next week, semi-finals on Tuesday, and so everybody has 2 more games to play before the semi-finals, and that's happening Saturday and Sunday. All 6 teams playing. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome. You're live.
Hello, Mr. Nice.
Yes.
Am I on?
You're live. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm calling back from New York. Somebody called and said make a comment about the United States and St. Kitts. I'm not comparing the United States with St. Kitts. All I'm saying is that the people of St. Kitts, all of them may not be able to afford it. Some of them could afford to go to them games. If they can't afford it, they should, because it's taking part in St. Kitts, they could give away tickets to the people. Because in America, football game, basketball, baseball, companies get tickets and they give them to their employees for free. I'm not making no comparison with St. Kitts and America. But in America, the people have more freedom. And a little island like St. Kitts like that, they got too much restrictions on the citizen. It's a shame, man, because the pandemic is under control. In America, it's out of control. And the people still share a lot of freedom. And let me be clear to tell whoever the caller from St. Kitts called my name or called me out. The United States government give their citizens $3,000 since COVID. And St. Kitts government could do more for their people. Because the same way that the Prime Minister could give St. Vincent $1 million when they had the volcano, he should step up and get money however necessary they can to help the people who don't have nothing. If St. Kitts were going to debt to build Port Zanti and all them places, why they can't go borrow money from the IMF and that the people could eat and have a decent life? So stop that damn nonsense. Don't compare America with St. Kitts. I never tried to do that. Thank you, Mr. Nice.
All right. Thank you. All right. Got a few more minutes here. See if we could get in a few more calls. Let's try the phones again. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Nayas.
Yes, sir.
You notice me talk about the stadium again? Because the last time I talked about it, they take it and make politics out of it. But the thing was shut out again last night. You know, you couldn't sell in the back because nobody in the stand. And that never in no writing and nothing. At the last moment, they come and tell you the day games will have nobody in the park, including the vendors. You know, talk about the night games. You understand me? So, the other station who had a lot of things to say about I crying and I bawling, I hear me talking for my rights, because I think I have the rights to talk. When you invest money into something, you understand me? And it's non-politics. And to my good friend in New York, the government ain't supposed to give nobody no free ticket. You understand me? Sonny boy, you should know better than that. The park remain, they ain't going to the park because some of them are ignorant and not vaccinated. It's not that they can't afford to go to the park. When CPL used to come here, the ticket them was much more dearer and the park full every night. So I don't see what the concept of that. That's not the problem. The problem is that they are vaccinated and they can't make it to the park. And I think the government has done the right thing. While you're not vaccinated, you should not mingle with them who are vaccinated to affect them again. So I don't see nothing wrong with that. Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. We got a call? Okay. All right. As we wrap up here this morning. We had quite a few calls on, well, a lot of it is on the cricket, and a lot of it is on the venue. We had discussions on Africa, as usual. The Africa CARICOM Summit, and for that caller who had a question there, it was Africa CARICOM Summit, and it was a first and step in the right direction, and let's hope that we can keep that particular momentum and get something out of that. We will talk about that some more next week, once we get a chance to be here. Next week is kind of tough because we have still have CPL next week, semifinals and finals, and then we have a holiday next week as well. So it's going to be tough, but probably the following week we'll be back to normal with a full week of Frank and Candid. But I really want to get into that summit and what were the objectives and how are they going to meet the objectives of that summit, what came out of it, and so we can discuss that as well. But for now, we're thinking cricket and Patriots. Now the Patriots, as I said, like every other team, has two games left, and everybody will play their 2 games this weekend, Saturday and Sunday each, and we'll then determine who makes it to the semifinals, which are on Tuesday. And then the Tuesday game those games will determine who goes to the finals, which is the following day, on Wednesday. So our first mission is to make it to the semifinals. We are in a good position as we sit at 10 points. Trinbago Knight Riders are at 10 points as well, but they're at the top of the table because of the net run rate, and that's why it's important to make runs, right? So even though we're on 10 points, they are ahead of us because of the net run rate. But it's all about 4 teams making it to Tuesday, and that determination will be made over the weekend. And I believe that the Patriots could win one of those 2 games that's left. Just one will cement our position in the semifinals. Other things could happen to help that along, but we will see. We have 3 teams sitting right behind us at 8. That's Jamaica, St. Lucia, and Guyana, sitting with 8 points. And if they were to win their 2 games, well, we will see. Alright, so anyway, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you all for your input, and we'll be back on Monday for much more Frank and Candid. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy some more cricket. We'll talk to you soon.